up, my fellow YouTubers? Welcome to Axis and Allies, the Garrison. This is Dtroy, coming to you from Rochelle Park, New Jersey. All right, I figured that today I make a video somewhat different from what I usually make. It's more a video where I'm assessing a game that I'm currently playing with Great Army. GA started this game last Tuesday night and continued the game until Wednesday. We stopped the game around 10 o'clock at night, Wednesday night. We stopped the game halfway through round five. Okay, so I figured that I make a video about this game because I thought it was somewhat interesting the way the game initially started, and I realized that that psychology has a bearing to do with much of what goes on in Axis and Allies, in any game of Axis and Allies. Okay, take for instance, in this game, the Axis, I am playing the Axis. The Axis had an absolutely terrible beginning. Okay, I tactically speaking, I made a mistake early on in the game where I failed to bring in, when I was attacking Yugoslavia with my German army, in order to slingshot my army into Romania, I forgot to bring in the one unit from Romania. This way I could call off the attack during the second stage of the battle sequence and bring the bulk of my army into Romania. Well, I forgot that. I also made a second mistake where I left my naval units exposed. Okay, now I felt pretty terrible about the errors that I had made. It allowed for Russia to build up more effectively. Okay, and also it allowed for Russia to expand early into the game and counter and go into Poland. I made several mistakes that I just wasn't prepared for. Okay, so now, having said that though, even though that psychology was that I was losing early in the beginning of the game, I decided, you know what, I'm not going to just lose. I decided to fight back. So now it's midway through turn 5 in this game, and the Germans have recovered. Okay, the Germans have now taken Romania. Obviously not Romania, but the Germans built an industrial complex in Romania, but with the assistance of the Italians, they took the Ukraine and Stalingrad, excuse me. Okay, they have also taken Leningrad up in the north. So the Russians are now pulled all the way back into Russia itself. The Japanese in the Pacific have made inroads all the way deep into China. China has been eliminated from the game, and the British have been pushed all the way back to Calcutta. Okay, and in the Pacific you have the US fleet at the Caroline Islands, facing off the Japanese fleet off the coast of the Philippines. Now, what I'm trying to say though is that even though the Axis have the upper hand, right now they have the initiative in the game, I found myself getting more confident, more enthusiastic about where the game had come from and where it was going. And that's when it hit me. It leads you, when you're winning a game and you're feeling confident, you fall into a sense of complacency that we all have to look out for. Okay, so sure enough, when we called off the game halfway through round 5, I realized that I had not properly manned and equipped my western front against a possible UK amphibious landing. If you can see, my UK opponent, GA, has 4 naval transports and has the capacity to land up to 7 infantry, 4 fighters, and 1 armored unit that can be brought about from Norway and that could potentially be landed in Berlin itself. Berlin is simply not defended well enough. So I did some experimenting and I rolled the die a couple of times and re-rolled this battle, and it's a pretty even battle. So I'm assuming that GA, who's a very analytical player, he already foresaw this. And when he comes back and we restart the game, I am pretty confident that he has foreseen this and will probably attack Germany itself and take me out. So we all have to, when playing the game, we have to be careful not to fall into a sense of complacency when we're winning. Okay, here I am early on, around turn one. I'm feeling poor because of poor tactical decisions that I made, errors that I made on my part because I was busy or worried about other aspects of the game. And I failed to make the moves that I needed to make. Hence, I had a bad start. However, I was able to overcome those early mistakes and I was able to go on the offense and turn the game around. However, having said that, my sense of of success in later rounds led me to complacency, and now I believe that now I am potentially going to pay the price for it. All right, so now this leads me to my next commentary, which is an observation that we all have of Axis and allies, and that is that when you're playing Germany, Germany has a problem. And the problem with Germany is that it's a nation or a country that is confronted with multiple fronts. Germany fights 3 different enemies simultaneously, which are the Soviets, the British, and depending on what turn of the game, the United States. Geographically speaking, Germany is also ill situated. Germany is in a bad spot, thus allowing its opponents to attack its weak spots in the rear. So basically, when you're playing Germany, you have decisions to make, and that is the allocation of resources. Do you place your resources for defense in Germany, Western Europe, or do you place the majority of your assets in the Eastern Front against the Soviet Union? These are questions that we have to ask ourselves and that we have to consider. And it's a game where you have to basically play a game of balance. And it's one that at times can be difficult. So that's what I consider the problem with Germany. And it's the same problem that proves to be historically accurate that the Germans found themselves in halfway through the Second World War. The Germans found themselves in this exact predicament. Lack of resources and just way too many fronts, way too many enemies to fight at the same time. All right, so guys, those are the 2 commentaries or 2 ideas or thoughts that I was thinking of. The latter was the problem with Germany, and the first was the sense of overconfidence that can bring about a symptom of complacency, and complacency in Axis and allies or anything in life. Complacency can definitely hurt you. I look forward to my next game with GA, and I hope that I can overcome this weak spot that I have here in Germany, and I'll let you know how that works out. I doubt very much that he has not seen it. Again, GA is a very analytical mind, and I believe that he will capitalize on my mistake again. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. I'll keep you updated as far as my potential trip to Canada to not participate, but at least to visit and hopefully to get to meet the guys at the Young Grasshopper Invitational starting next Saturday, September 23rd. So I'll keep you updated if I can make it. I sure as heck hope that I can. I'll let you know. This is Dtroy out from the Garrison. Until next time.